It is good to be back. It is good to be live. And I want to start right where we left off last week. Getting out of your comfort zone to try something new, doing things that scare you, figuring out areas that you are inspired or where you draw inspiration, things that you look at with awe and reverence, and mapping or charting your way towards getting into those spaces. There's a quote by C.S. Lewis that says, "You never know what you can do until you try, and very few try unless they have to." I'll repeat it again. You never know what you can do until you try, and very few try unless they have to, unless they're forced to, unless there's some other impetus that is causing them to have to go back to the drawing board, pull them out of their comfort zone and into the unknown where growth happens. You see, all I'm trying to say to you for Coaching Corner this week, what is today? October 30th, right before Halloween. I'm trying to say, don't wait until you have to. Try something new now while it's on your own terms. Try something new now when you get to determine the rules of engagement. Try something new now when it isn't under the gun, as it were, right? So many in the creator space, especially the streaming spaces, have been forced into looking at other platforms because one of the prominent streaming platforms has changed their pricing structure. That was being forced. That meant you were under the gun. That meant you had to go now and look at your budget and say, can I still afford this? I'm saying to you, don't wait until you have to. Try something new under your own parameters. Like, try something new, like, y'all put it on your calendar. Schedule it in. Like, maybe Wednesdays at noon, you're going to try something new. And I hope that you'll join us here for the Coaching Corner. Maybe on Fridays at 6 a.m., you're going to try something new. Maybe on Sundays at 4 p.m., you're going to try something new. Pencil it in. Make it non-negotiable. Do a search online. Come up with a list of things that you're going to try that's new. Maybe it's in content creation. Maybe it's in live streaming. Maybe it has nothing to do with any of the above. I saw a list of things to try that are new. One of them said, learn how to juggle. I was like, I've always wanted to learn how to juggle. Let me repeat C.S. Lewis's quote before we dive in for our Coaching Corner today. You never know what you can do until you try. And that is the action. That's the active part that we bring to the table. Will you try? The quote goes on to say, and very few try unless they have to. My challenge to you today is that let's not make this quote true of us. Let's try something new long before we have to. Well, it is good to be back with you yet again for another edition of the Coaching Corner. My name is Kirk Nugent. serve as your host for this wild ride every Wednesday at noon. And I also go by the term the Geek Speaker Preacher. Because listen, I like to talk. I love tech and media. And sometimes when I talk, it comes across as a sermon. It wasn't intended that way. It's just the way that it comes across. I can't help it. It's part of who I am. I live by a couple of different things. I believe your live stream is your digital storefront. There's no greater way to go from busy and broke to peaceful and paid than for your ideal customer to see you do your thing while live. And when you're live, and they don't need the taste test or the ad campaign. You know, the little chicken they give you on a toothpick from the little Asian stores in the mall? You don't need that, because you're ready to book the business because you've seen them do their thing while live. And I'm excited, man. Today, we are going to dive into a number of different things I want to show you. We always love your questions. And I see the Mod Squad is here, present and accounted for today. Several are already chiming in. Let's see what we got. And Enea is with us on the live. She says, hey, Kirk Nugent. Hey to you as well. Thank you so much for being with us. And then we also have Yolanda with us. She says, hey, everybody, what's going on? If you're in the chat, please go ahead and drop us a comment. We'd love to be able to shout you out as well, as there's always room for more in the comment section. And if you have a question, just go ahead and put a Q : and then put your question. If it's pertaining to live streaming, if you've got questions about StreamYard or EVMux, Ecamm, if you got questions about content creation and getting more views on YouTube. In fact, that's the question I'm going to hone in on today, because somebody sent that to me on Facebook Messenger. Somebody sent me this message asking, how do I get more views on YouTube? I am excited about that question, and I've written that question down. I'm going to make sure we touch on that question, but I do want to dive a little bit deeper on this whole concept of trying something new. I see my guy David Hunt is in the chat as well, giving a moderator's salute to Enea and to Yolanda. Thank you guys so much for being with us today. 6 of you on the live, 4 likes already. I cannot thank you enough for being part of the movement. Try something new. We've been harping, if you haven't noticed, if you've been rocking with us the last couple weeks for the coaching corner, we've been talking about this different sides of this concept of trying something new from multiple different angles for the last number of weeks. The coaching corner is a space where we can come aside from whatever it is that we're doing, whether it's business, content, entrepreneurship. Maybe you're a creator. Maybe you're a full-time creator. Maybe you've got brand deals. Man, maybe you're a web designer like my wife is. Maybe you have multiple different disciplines and practices, things that you, responsibilities that you have to achieve in the course of a day. Maybe you're a CEO. Maybe you're in the C-suite. But the coaching corner is where we can pull aside for a moment, recalibrate, get out of the fight, right? The bell has rung, the ref has cleared the canvas, everybody's back in their corners. You can now assess, you can take time to reflect, to assess what you have been doing, your strategy, your game plan, your war tactics, and then recalibrate so that you can re-enter the fight with renewed determination, with with a heightened sense of awareness of some of the things that you were doing that weren't necessarily getting you the results that you wanted. And that's what the Coaching Corner is all about. And we're excited to have you guys here with us. Man, go ahead and tag somebody. Make sure you drop the link to a friend. Coaching Corner is on and popping, and we're excited to kind of get going with that today. Man, what inspires you? Go ahead and put that in the chat. I see several of you. Thank you, David Hunt. Thank you, Yolanda. Thank you, Enea, for doing your good work in the chat. Let me know in the chat. This is my first question to you today. What inspires you? Share with me some examples of things that inspire you today. We're going to get to some of your questions. If you got them, throw them in the chat. We'll star them. We'll make sure that we get those questions answered. And of course, we have one question that we're going to look into. How do I get more views on YouTube? But talk to me real quick, just as we get ready to get going today. Talk to me about what inspires you. One of the things that I'm a huge fan of is CrossFit. I love CrossFit as a discipline, as a workout regimen, but also, right, what I'm actually more referring to is CrossFit as an industry, almost as entertainment, if you will. I am inspired by the CrossFitters. I am inspired by that entire world. I'm inspired to go behind the scenes with Matt Frazier and Rich Froning, and if you know CrossFit, you know these names, Tia Claire Toomey, several others. I'm inspired by them. I'm inspired by CrossFit Mayhem, which is just up the road in Cookeville, Tennessee, right about an hour from me where I live here in Huntsville, Alabama. I'm inspired by their stories, by their trajectory, by their relentless pursuit of greatness. I'm inspired. And one of the things I always do in coaching is I ask my coaching clients, what inspires you? And I want to be clear, I am not a CrossFitter. I am a fitness enthusiast. I do love working out, but I am not in CrossFit. So I am inspired by it, and you can be inspired by it and not necessarily be partaking of it, right? You don't have to participate to be inspired. Like, I watch the Olympics, right? I watch football with my son. We're basketball fans as well. I do not play. I am inspired by it. I am inspired by their determination, as I mentioned before. I am inspired at being able to play at that level. I'm inspired by the gifting that they have, coupled with a discipline that is to be modeled, right? Because in order for them to bring that gift to life, they had to hone it and refine it by getting in the lab and doing the work behind closed doors, outside of the limelight. I'm inspired by that kind of thing. And I want to hear from you what you're inspired by. Okay, I see several things in the chat right now. Let's see what we got. Hey, what's going on, Dwayne Wood? Always good to have you with us today. Whenever we can have you with us. David Hunt says, this is what you put if you have a question. And then he also follows it up by asking a question. So we want to make sure that we're able to star that. We'll get back to your question in just a minute. Welcome to the live stream, everyone. We're glad you're here. Love that, Yolanda. I'm inspired to create. Dwayne Wood says, hello, everybody. Thank you for being here. David says, and I'm hoping that others are going to tap in and add some comments as well. David says, I'm inspired to create. I'm inspired to create. I wrote a song this morning. It made me smile. Ooh, and so I love this, David. I love this, but what I'm more looking for is what inspires you, not necessarily what you're inspired to do. See, you see what we did there? See, and I love this. I love that you shared this quote, this comment. I love that you typed this in, because it helps us to further define what it is we're looking for. Because you've actually skipped to step 2. What you've done is you've skipped to step 2, David, by essentially going and saying, I'm inspired to. You put the other end of the question in play. I was going to ask that later, right? Because see, when I said I'm inspired by CrossFit, I'm inspired by these athletes. I'm inspired by people who are at the top of their game, operating in peak performance. I'm inspired by that. But when I said that, I am inspired by that. I'm not inspired to go and follow them. No. I'm not inspired to go. Well, my wife and I were in New Zealand for our anniversary this year, back in June. And I was there for a speaking engagement and was able to bring her along with. Always a better trip whenever she can come. And so we were there for our anniversary, and we went to this restaurant, and the restaurant had 2 options. One option was you could basically pick whatever you wanted from the menu. But then the other option was what they called the chef special. And essentially, you just gave them your dietary restrictions, and then they would bring you food. 4 courses. Over the course of an hour or so, we sat there, and to our wildest imagination, we could not have, anticipated the types of food that they were going to bring out. And I want to be clear, I would never have picked any of those dishes if I was left with the menu myself. But I really enjoyed it. And I want to tell you, I was inspired by it. I wasn't necessarily inspired to cook though. I wasn't inspired to cook. I'm not inspired to be a CrossFitter. I was inspired to do what I'm called to do at that same level. I'm inspired to put that level of intentionality, that level of discipline, that level of preparedness. I'm inspired to bring that to the things that I'm doing. So I'm inspired to be even more prepared for the coaching corner every single Wednesday. I'm inspired to be even more in-depth and detailed in my content as I share with people different aspects of coaching in my YouTube videos that release every Sunday, or if I'm showing them different aspects of a streaming platform. I'm inspired to raise the bar, because that is what inspiration should do. This is why it's critical to know what inspires you. Because if you know what inspires you, you can go back to it when you're not inspired. You can go back to it when you're in a funk. You can go back to it when you're not feeling it. When you can go back to the places where you found inspiration before. If you know what inspires you, you can actually set up some hacks. Now you see the whole picture is coming clearer, right? If you know what inspires you, you can actually get yourself a good shot of inspiration whenever you want it, because you know where to go to get it. And one of the things I do in coaching right there at the beginning, session number 1, tell me, what inspires you? What inspires you? What, when you see it, you're like, ooh, that's it. I gotta go. I gotta get going. I gotta get moving. I gotta do something for me. I gotta serve the people that I've been called to serve in a better way. I've gotta plan more. I've gotta be more intentional. What inspires you? What gives that gleam in your eye? Let me get back to my comment section, because I feel like you guys are having way too much fun over here. I'm inspired by the thought of how I can help children learn something new or share what they learned. Ooh, anytime I see especially a younger person or a child share something that they learned, right? When the child or a mentee or a younger person, maybe young adult, maybe college student, when they get to sit in the seat of authority and share what they've learned, I'm always inspired. So I resonate with you on that one, Enenea. Raven's Talk with Yolanda says, I'm inspired by seeing people have a goal, work hard, and achieve the goal. Oh, yes. Do you know, this is a huge side note. I'm just saying this to Yolanda. The rest of you just kind of happen to be listening. But do you know, Yolanda, that what you just shared is an entire cheat code for content? Like, do you know why these lawn videos do so well, or these carpet cleaning videos do so well? Because you get to see the entire life cycle, right? The carpet cleaning videos don't even have any voices on. They're not even saying any words. Oh my gosh, my daughter and I watched like 10 of them the other night. They just bring the carpet in, they roll it out, and you can see, right? You can see that the goal is to clean the carpet. And then they take you through this half-hour video that's on 2x speed. And they walk you through this entire hard work process to show them achieving their goal. And that is what you just outlined. And that is why those videos do so well, because people want to see, people are inspired by seeing a goal, being able to go through the process of the work, the very hard work, and then that end result, the reveal. Some people fast forward to see the reveal. Those people are not inspired. No. They just want to skip to the end. People who go through the entire video like my daughter and I do, we're inspired by the process, by the hard work it took to get there. And I just wanted to affirm you because I love what you shared. Thank you so much for that. That right there is a cheat code for good content. I see my good friend Camille Nash TV is with us today. I was on her show recently and we had a blast. I mean, we had a blast. And I'll say this, she will be joining us. I want to say, is it next week? Camille, are you joining us next week for the coaching corner? I want to say, yeah, is it next week? Maybe November 2nd, coaching corner. I don't know which day you booked for. I've got to look for it. I'm looking for it now. I want to see which day did we book for it, Camille? Maybe I'm tripping. It definitely is not today. At least I don't think it is. But yeah, let me know which day you had booked for, Camille, because I think you had it scheduled. But anyway, I'm so glad that you're here. Excited that you're with us today. David Hunt says, I'm inspired by Kirk Nugent, Dwayne Wood, Camille Nash, Ananea, and other creatives that are making a difference in the world. I want to be clear. There are multiple creators that I watch. 360 Jeezy is another one, right? He is a barber. He is a hair cutting enthusiast and influencer, but he's also a teacher. He teaches people how to cut hair. During the pandemic, I used his videos to learn how to cut my son's hair because we weren't going to the barber anymore. But 360 Jeezy is a creator who inspires me. He inspires me, absolutely inspires me, even though I would never do the type of content that he does. And I'm no longer cutting my son's hair. But 360 Jeezy goes beyond just cutting hair. And I am inspired by him. And so I resonate with what you're saying now, David. And I'm honored and humbled that I'm in this list of creators who inspire you. But yeah, that's absolutely awesome. That's absolutely awesome. Doc Wood says, I'm inspired by underdog stories. Oh, come on. The struggle that finally succumbs to determination. The sports figure, the person from the wrong side of the tracks, the person who is unsure of their gifts. Come on. We've got gold today. We've got gold today because this right here is another cheat code. It's a cheat code. Do you understand? This is the coaching corner. This is the coaching corner. And my particular thing is live streaming and content creation, success on YouTube, success with content, whether it's to grow and engage an audience, to funnel clients to your business, or to establish yourself as a thought leader in a given space. That's my thing. Okay. And I have step-by-step guides and practical tutorials for the do-it-yourself video creator that learns visually. That's my thing. And one of the things that both Yolanda and Dwayne have shared today are giving insight into some strategies for successful content. Man, that underdog story is absolutely one that grabs people's attention. Oh man, I wonder if they're gonna believe. I wonder if they're gonna bet on themselves. I wonder if they're gonna do the work. I wonder if they're gonna get up early, go to bed late, and hone their skills and provide their gifts to the world. Will they believe it? That's inspiration. You want to bottle that thing up, man. You want to bottle that thing up. You want to be able to take a healthy dose of that. This is what I meant when I said, when you know what you're inspired by, you can give yourself a healthy shot of it anytime you want to, because you've identified what gives you inspiration. What gives you inspiration? David Hunt says, carpet cleaning, lawn care, auto detailing. I love these as well. Inspired by the transformation. If you never understood why these types of genres are doing ridiculously well, it's because of the transformation that they have in each video. It's the reason why I do the before and after pictures when I set up a new studio. This is the reason why I'm actually working on a new show with a brand, right? Where we're gonna be looking to do a makeover of people's live streams. Yeah, this is the reason why. That transformation piece is the reason why content flies off the shelf, why it does the numbers. Can you think about your content from the perspective of transformation, from the perspective of the underdog story, right? Those are the first two. The last one was from the perspective of seeing people have a goal, work hard, and achieve the goal. Can you rethink, reimagine your content from that perspective? Come on, talk about it. David Harvey is with us today. Apple's new Mac Mini is a cheat code as well. Yes, it is, sir. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Yeah. Kirk, you tore the house down with Camille Nash TV stream. Listen, we had a whole hallelujah hopping good time with Camille Nash. I'm so glad you enjoyed it. I'm so glad you enjoyed it. Tracy is with us today. She says, man, I'm sorry I'm late. I got my times wrong. No, listen, you're not that bad. You're not doing too bad. You're only 20 something minutes off. So you're in good shape. And we know you're from across the pond. So we know that it's difficult to kind of keep those things right. And we're about to shift things up again with daylight savings times coming this coming weekend. So it's gonna get even worse. So we recognize that, Tracy, but we can't thank you enough. David Harvey says 360 GZ is so dope. Yes, he is. And would you agree, David, that he is far more than a barbering channel? He does way more. This guy he hosted some award ceremony for YouTubers. I thought it was absolutely awesome. Why? Because his videos transcend. It's entertainment. I have to watch, not because I'm trying to learn how haircuts anymore, because I want to see what he's doing. I want to see what in the world he's got going on next. It's like a series, but it's in YouTube format, and that's what it's all about. Many times when we're trying to niche down, we're trying to focus in on our target audience and our value proposition. These are the things that allow YouTube to show us to the world, to the people who need what we have to offer the most. But if we can be honest, if we could fast forward down towards the last session of coaching, what we really want, what everybody really wants, and it's unstated, and you can't really use this as a rule of thumb at the beginning, you want people to watch you for you. Yeah. You don't just want them to watch you for live content. You don't just want them to watch you for StreamYard and Ecamm and EVMux, for content creation strategies and best practices. You want them to watch you for you. I don't just want you to come because he's gonna be doing video editing this evening with his video editor at 3 p.m. I need video editing skills, so let me come for that. That's my on-ramp. That's my discoverability component. But what I really want down the line, now I would dare say what all of you really want as creators, is you want people to watch you for you. And 360 Jeezy has done that masterfully. He's done that masterfully. So I'm excited for that comment as well. We just started. Okay, good. No idea why, but I thought it was 8 p.m. my time. I don't know. Hey, Russ is with us. Russ is back with us today. Hey, Kirk, mods, and chat. Hope everyone is well. Everyone is well, and we're doing even better now that we've seen you in the chat. Russ, thank you so much for being here today. Thank you so much for being here today. It confuses all of us, Tracy. Last weekend, your next confuses the hell out of me. It confuses all of us. I was talking to my kids about this in the car this morning, and we were all like, this thing needs to stop. We've got to put this DST thing to bed. The duck race was a cheat code. Now I get it. It had us all coming back. Now you get it. And let me be clear. I would love to do the duck race again. I just got to figure out other ways to be able to incorporate that back into our strategies. But I'm excited about what you're sharing there, David Harvey. Sorry. Russ says, I'm inspired by my subscribers. What a concept. I've got to pause here. I'm inspired by my subscribers. Oh, you flipped it, Russ. That's good. Oh my goodness. Without them, I'd have deleted my channel ages ago. I'm inspired by my subscribers. Oh man. I'm inspired by my comment section. I'm inspired by the person who messaged me privately on Facebook Messenger yesterday and said, whenever I'm feeling down and discouraged, I watched this video and he put a link to one of my morning motivations. I am inspired by that. Oh, I thank you so much, Russ, for that is so critical. That is so critical. And when you need a shot of inspiration, you can go and be like, hey, let me take a look and see what my subscribers are saying. Oh man, Russ, this is a cheat code. This is a cheat code. Now I want to make sure that we bring it back in here. Because even though your subscribers, absolutely you should be inspired by your subscribers. Oh, Tracy says ditto, Russ. You should absolutely be inspired by your subscribers. But subscriber growth is something different. I just wanted to throw that out there. I'm not going to tarry on that long, but I am not inspired by subscriber growth. I want to be clear. I am inspired by my subscribers, but I am not inspired by subscriber growth. I am excited by subscriber growth. I am humbled and honored by subscriber growth, but I am not inspired by it. Let me flip it on its head. I can be inspired by David saying, hey, I just monetized, just hit 2,000-3,000 subscribers on the channel. David Hunt may say that. I can be inspired by his work ethic that has allowed him to get that far, but I am not necessarily inspired by the subscriber growth. And the reason why I wanted to throw that in there, especially since this is the coaching corner, is because subscriber growth is not a great place to draw inspiration, because sometimes it's outside of your control. So I just want to throw that in there, because I can't tell you how many times in coaching we have these discussion where it's like, man, I don't know what's going on. My subscriber count's not going up. Pump brakes. The videos that you're putting out there, are they still serving your existing subscribers? Yes. Yes, they're watching. Yes, they're being impacted. Yes, they're commenting. They're letting me know. Then let's move forward. Let's move forward. I just wanted to pause there. I wanted to pause there and share that, because I tell you what, that will derail anything you got going on. I'm inspired to make impact, to influence change. Oh, listen, we got a lot of inspiration here today. We all a lot of inspiration, and I'm excited about it. Ditto on that, Russ. I love that. Tracy, thank you so much for coming through. Coins Making Sense says, who's gonna stop me? Love that video. I watch it weekly. Ooh. It's not about who's going to let me. It's not about permission. Listen, this is why morning motivation exists. It exists to inspire. It exists to inspire. Today, we shared a quote from C.S. Lewis. And this quote simply says, you never know what you can do until you try, and very few try unless they have to. And my question subsequent to that quote, after we unpacked it a little bit right there at the beginning of our show today, my question was, what inspires you? And we've been having this phenomenal conversation this entire time about inspiration, what we are inspired to do, and what inspires us. And I tell you what, man, there is no better way to be able to get out of a funk, right? To shake off the monotony, the routine, than to go back to where you are inspired. What's going on, Tora? Always good to have you with us today. Russ says, with less than 5K subs, it's not about the numbers, it's about the people. Listen, you got it right. I just had to take that little detour to make sure everybody understood that as well. But Russ, you have it right. It ain't about the numbers. It's about the people. Listen, even with 570,000 subscribers, it's not about the numbers. It's about the people. It's about the impact that you can have. It's about the differences you can make. Russ, you're already winning. I'm inspired by your comments. Listen, I'm inspired at the fact that 12 of you are on the live with us today, and 9 of you have hit the like button. I'm inspired. I'm inspired by that. I'm inspired because what that means is you're getting value from this, that this is having impact, and that's what it's all about. Now, I do want to answer a couple of questions. I got it. Responding shortly. I love it. I do want to answer a couple of questions. One was, of course, here's one from David Hunt. He says, in trying something new, have you thought about how I could use my 360 camera, Insta360 X4, for content on the go or in the studio to make a difference? Let me tell you, I have been playing around with the Insta360 and I have been looking at multiple ways, David, to be able to utilize it in some new formats. What I'm really looking to do with the Insta360 is to do behind the scenes or follow along type content. So when you go to your church, several times we've talked and you say, hey, I'm at choir practice or wherever. The Insta360 is a great camera to bring with to now showcase what you're doing. Okay, when I get there, this is what I have to set up. Here's what I'm looking for from the piano. Here's what I'm looking for from the director so that I can be in tune. Here's what I do before I go to the practice. That kind of content, the Insta360, in my opinion, does a great job in capturing by just kind of putting it off to the side and doing your thing. You're not necessarily looking at it to speak to it. You're capturing B-roll, if that makes sense. I used the Insta360 when we were in Greece back in September. Just put it on a selfie stand, extended it all the way up, and just walked with it. Just walked with it through the city of Mykonos, and just walked through it. Walked with it, just holding it up. It was way up at the top, and we're walking, talking with my wife, talking with other people in the group that we're with, and I just walked with it. And I was looking at that content, and I was like, man, that's pretty good. That's good, clean content that I can use in a myriad of different ways. But also, if you're more intentional. Now, of course, if I was a travel vlogger, I could actually use that directly, but I would put that in your car. I would put it, to the side as you're packing up your stuff to go to practice or to go to a performance or to go to a rehearsal or to go to church, wherever it is you're going to be playing or singing. I would put that in these different unique places. Put it far away, give people different perspectives. Put it close by and reach across it. It really, the camera does a great job of capturing multiple different angles, high quality. And I think those are some ways that you can absolutely utilize it to push the needle and have some new content out there. So I just wanted to share that with you, David. If I had 570,000, it wouldn't be as intimate. This is true, Russ. This is true. But you know what? I've heard from having sat across the Zoom table from multiple creators who have varying levels of subscriber counts, some of them even 570, some with more, is that when they create content, they still have that one person in mind. They still have that one person in mind that they're speaking to, and that's what makes for good content. Even if you reach 1 million subscribers, you're still creating with that one perfect person, that one avatar in mind, and you're speaking to them. And because YouTube does such a phenomenal job of doing one-to-many, you can still have an intimate experience. I know that it's difficult for you as a creator to then have intimate experiences with your subscribers, but you can still create that feel even with that amount. I'll give you another example. Even for the church where I serve as media pastor. On a given Saturday during the worship experience, we can have sometimes 5,000 to 7,000 people watching. But when I meet those individuals, when I meet them when I'm traveling around the place, when I meet them at different conferences and different events and venues where we're gonna be in person, and they come up to me and say, I want to hug you because I feel like I know you, because there are so many times where you were speaking to that camera and I felt like it was just me and you. And it was at times where I was at my low points. It was at times where I needed to hear a word, where I needed inspiration. And those that medium, this method of interaction and engagement, it really is understated. It really is. Because even though thousands are on there live, when I'm looking at that camera and saying what I'm saying, each individual person can take it for themselves. So I wanted to share that as well. Oh my word, we got folks are having a great time in the chat, and I always want to make sure that I go back to it. Tora says 10 now. I just hit that, smash that like button. Tora, there's 13 now, sis. So I want to say a word of thanks to you. You inspired several to hit that like button as well. Thank you so much. Camille Nash says, powerful insight, Kirk. Thank you so much. Totally true. It's that speaking to one that makes the difference. Absolutely. Oh yeah, Russ is agreeing with us as well. I have an imaginary viewer I talk to. She is someone I used to know. Look at that. You are practicing. This is why the coaching corner exists. Because even for somebody who's watching this live, who is new to content creation, maybe even if they're seasoned in content creation, maybe they're watching this on replay, they can not only learn new tactics and strategies and hear its confirmation by people like you in the chat. Today's session, 40 minutes in, we're 40 minutes into today's session, and we have covered so much ground simply by asking the question, what inspires you? Okay, who are you speaking to? Why do you come back to create more content? Where can you get that shot in the arm? Is it from your subscribers and the comments that they're sharing? Is it the impact that you're having? Or do you find inspiration from other creators, from other industries like me? Maybe it's from the different types of videos that we talked about, or the different types of content. Maybe you follow CrossFit like I do. Where you find your inspiration isn't necessarily where you're gonna find your work. It's not like you're gonna go and copy what they do and be a person that does that thing. Where you find your inspiration, it should be a fire starter in you to do what you only can do. And that's critical. In this content game, it is so critical to be able to, boom, there's my inspiration. Boom, let me grab some. Boom. Do you know that even for designing, like you see the format that my show is in right now in terms of the layout of what's on screen and the different things that you can see, and then the comment that's next to me. I draw inspiration from several other live streamers who their designs to me are just like absolutely bananas. I was sitting at a restaurant last week when I was at Creator Camp. Same restaurant that you told me about, Yolanda, the Barking Dog or something like that. And they had the like Sports Center or ESPN or something like that up on screen. And I'm looking at this scene and I'm saying to myself, I could design that in Ecamm. That's inspiration. That's inspiration. And me writing down ESPN or Sports Zone is a space that inspires my creative juices around designing scenes for Ecamm. Me writing that down is the cheat code. Now we're getting to the practical, like, what can I do now, Kirk? You writing down what inspires you, the spaces that you can go into, the things that you can watch, the experiences you can expose yourself to that you know ahead of time will inspire you. You knowing that is a cheat code. And that's what coaching is all about. I want to make sure you guys get a chance to walk away with something. This is a whole session. Yeah. If we're one-on-one, this would be me saying, here are your action items. Write it down. Write it down. What are those spaces and places and experiences that inspire you? Write them down. Test it. Okay, I was inspired last time. Let me go and watch another and see if I'm inspired again. And if it holds true, write it down. Write it down. Write it down. Diarize it so that you can go back and be inspired. So that you can go back and be invigorated. You can be motivated to take that next step, to go to the next level, to be that much more intentional. write it down so that you don't have to leave it to a memory. And I'll be clear, writing it down actually solidifies it in the mind. Sometimes I don't have to go back to those notes, but the fact that I have them means that it's seared into my brain that this is one of the ways that I am inspired. Oh yeah, what was the name of that guy's channel again? Henny the Business. Oh, let me go and why did I pause? Because I had to go and look it up. Henny the Business is right here on the screen. I use Henny the Business to be inspired. Not because I'm gonna make beats, not because I'm gonna do what Henny does, but because I see his creative process and I'm inspired. I wrote it down. I wrote it down. And I wanna, let me go back out here. BGO, business goal objective. Yes, yes, yes. Speak to the one. David Hunt says that will preach. Hashtag that will preach. Speak to the one. Oh my gosh. Start a fire. Just Tora says, start a fire. I use StreamYard because of the price. I want to shift to other streaming platforms. I'm coming back to you, SK. I have some advice for you. You are in the right place, and some of my folks are actually seeing that here as well. I totally peek at BOL live scenes and promos each week and write it down. Well done, Kirk. Thank you so much, Tora. I write it down. You should write it down too. You should write it down too. Okay, we were able to knock out one of these questions that we had from David Hunt, and we have another question here from SK. So SK, talk to us in the chat. I'm gonna, I see some of your, Camille Nash says, boom, hashtag wow. Now SK, I wanna say this. What are you using to stream? Now I see that you put iPad in the chat. Is that what you're using to stream? And let me know, do you have anything else that you can use to stream? Do you have a computer? And what kind of computer is it? Is it a Windows machine? Is it a Mac? What are you currently using to stream? What do you have as your camera? What do you have as your microphone? Be as detailed as you possibly can so that I can help to make some recommendations. The second thing that I'm gonna ask, even as you get ready to answer that one, SK, is what is your show about? What's your show flow? What are you using streaming to do? You were on StreamYard and now you're looking to move to something else. What are you looking to do? Do you need to bring in guests? Are you sharing a screen? Do you need to be able to play videos? Do you want to have overlays? What do you want that experience for streaming to be? Is it stripped down? Is it very basic? Talk to us. In terms of what you have there, and I'm listening. I'm seeing one word answers, and I'm gonna be honest with you, one word answers is not gonna get me across the line. It's not gonna give me the information I need to be able to give you some advice in terms of what are some of the options for a platform for you to choose. I'd rather you put some thought into what you are wanting to share so that we can actually give you some robust recommendations. So I'll leave you to figure that piece out while we can continue on to a couple other things. Now, I mentioned earlier that we had a question from a gentleman on in DMs, right, before the show, saying, hey, how do I get more views on videos? So I have a couple of different strategies I want to share with you today. Number one, how do I get more views on videos? Number one, ensure that you know who the video is for, and the video does, the first piece is to ensure that you have done the work. You have done the work. You have done the investment, the time to ensure that your pacing is on, that your hook is right there. You're not pausing to say, hey, my name is Kirk. Thank you so much for coming to my channel. No. Get right to content. Get right to content, right? Make sure that your title, description, thumbnail works to bring people into the video. And then once you brought them into the video, you continue the conversation immediately. Don't wait for it. Don't make it we do these things of trying to make people guess at what the video's about. Don't do that, okay? Make it as plain and as clear as possible so that you can get that interest for the person who is interested. You got to understand that those people who will come across your video, a good portion of them have been searching for something, whereas others, maybe they came across it because it was suggested to them, and in which case that means they're part of a demographic that you serve. YouTube recognizes them as being somebody that you serve. So you want to ensure that you are capitalizing on that by grabbing their attention quickly, allowing them to self-identify, this is for you, this is not for you, and give them the value. Give it to them. Make sure you're giving it to them. So the first piece, you want to get more views on your videos, you want to make sure that you're taking care of that whole video production cycle. You've got to do that work first. Second thing is, do you know where your target audience resides? Where are they? Where are they? Are there groups where they reside? Are there places that you can become a member of? Facebook groups is a great one. I do this with the coaching clients all the time. Find where your audience resides. Seek them out. And when you seek them out, you can actually go and listen to what they're saying. You can actually go and begin to study their profile to learn them even more, right? To learn what are they dealing with. So this may be your primary thing, but what else are they dealing with? As a coach, I deal with content creators. But guess what? Content creators are very different. They have a wide variety of experiences and things that they deal with on a day-to-day basis. And in order for me to speak to them, I've got to be able to speak to what that general profile is so that I can grab as many of their attention as possible. But the idea that I'm saying here in point number 2, want to get more views on your videos. First, you need to make sure the video is good. Yes. Have your family watch the video, have friends watch the video, have people in your target audience watch the video, see where they look away, where they pick up their phone, where they lose interest. Ask them, what happened there? Why did I lose your attention? Make sure the video is good. Do the homework to ensure, do the research to ensure, understand the analytics to ensure your video is good. Once that part is taken care of, you will see an increase in views. But if you want to see even more increase in views, you want to go and find where that target audience exists. Where do they reside? Where do they hang out? Where do they buy drinks, right? Where are they frequenting? Not because of anything else, just because that they're part of that audience. They've self-identified themselves to be part of a particular group. You can go in those groups. And I want to be clear, you're not going in there to go and share your videos. You're going in there to share your value. You're going in there to be part of the community. You're going in there to talk with them, to mingle, to ask questions, to answer questions. Then that last piece, to answer questions, it's a far distant piece. You really want to become part of the community. I joined StreamYard community. I joined the Ecamm community. I joined them genuinely because I was trying to learn these platforms. But what I realized is that while there are questions that people had that I had already answered. So I would type and say, hey, I've dealt with that too. Here's what you want to do. And they were like, man, people would say, thank you so much. I appreciate that. So thank you so much, Kirk. To the point where the moderators in both of those groups started grabbing links from my YouTube page and sharing them into the group. Why? Because the video was answering the problem. It was answering the question. So you want your content to be the prescription that your audience's doctor will prescribe. You want your content to be the prescription that your audience's doctor will prescribe, so that when your audience goes to the doctor and say, hey doc, my elbow, it's not doing too well. When they write that prescription, they're literally sending them to your content. So you want to be able to grow and gain more viewers organically for your content. You need to make sure the video is done well. Make sure the video is a good video. Like, I cannot overstate that. Make sure the video is a good video. But second, you need to go to the spaces and places that your audience resides, where they hang out. Oh, content creation is not just about creating the content. Because here's what's gonna happen when you go to those spaces. When you engage them in the comment section, you ask them, hey, what did you like about this video? What didn't you like? What would have made this video even more? When you ask those questions in the comment section and you get the answer back, you are learning how to make the next video better. You're learning how to speak even more clearly and directly to the audience that you want YouTube to send to your content. It's cyclical, and it is a never-ending learning process. There are people with millions of subscribers, hundreds of millions of views, who are still learning to speak even more clearly to their audience. You want more views on your videos organically. These are the two critical areas that I can share without knowing what your content is. There are other areas that I can share with you, but I would have to specifically know what your content's all about. All right, so now that we've answered that question, I'm going to see what SK was able to put in the chat. All right, so SK still giving us some one-word answers. Let's see here. Okay, we'll try and string them together, SK. So it says iPad, no computer, Windows machine. I do a review of show. Brody, I add 9 people. I need a little more. Okay, I need a little more information. I need a little more information than what you've provided in order for me to be able to give you. I don't know. But so based on what you've provided, 9 people is a lot of people on screen. And if you're reviewing, I do a review of show. You review other people's shows, or do you review a TV show? Maybe you do reaction content. That's very popular right now. So if that's what you're doing, kudos to you. Windows machine, there's only one specific program that is only for Windows, and that is vMix. And so, but pretty much I wouldn't necessarily recommend that if you are coming from StreamYard, because it's a huge learning curve. So I wouldn't necessarily recommend vMix, but vMix does work exclusively on Windows. But since you are on a Windows machine, I cannot recommend a platform like what I'm using right now, which is Ecamm Live. So we'll eliminate Ecamm Live and vMix, and we'll stay with web-based streaming platforms. And so one of the things I would say is for 9 people, and it sounds like you're, okay, because you said iPad, no computer, Windows machine. So it sounds like your preference is to use your iPad. Okay, let me say that I would recommend, if you're just trying to stay in a price point that you're used to, you want to stay with the functionality that you're used to from StreamYard, I would recommend something like Restream Live Studio. Restream Live Studio, I would recommend that. If that is, okay, he says I have to go, I have an urgent call. But hopefully you can catch this on replay. I would recommend Restream Live Studio as a means of being able to just kind of have apples to apples, going from StreamYard to something that you're already familiar with. Restream will do the 10 people. It will allow you to join from your iPad. I don't know that you'll be able to run the whole thing from your iPad, but I will also say that you will have some issues, you know, and it sounds to me like you're okay with that, because that's basically where your production has been. Nothing to do with StreamYard particularly, everything to do with your infrastructure. So thank you so much for your question, SK. We appreciate them. Hope that everything is okay with your urgent call, but Restream Live Studio would definitely be one that I think you should check out. I've experienced a lot of buffering lately with StreamYard, problems since new leadership. I have been hearing this. I hope that that's not the case, Camille, but I have been hearing this, especially on LinkedIn. But I think that the issue with LinkedIn is LinkedIn. And I just want to say, you know, I say this publicly every now and again, man, LinkedIn really needs to get their act together. I did a live stream on LinkedIn this morning, and I'm just kind of like, how did you get nothing? How did you get like out of a let's say 15-minute live stream? how did you only get 60 seconds? How did you do that, LinkedIn? And all my other destinations got everything that was like LinkedIn. Okay, I'm gonna leave it alone. LinkedIn, man, they're not really ready for video. They're just throwing stuff at the wall. And it doesn't make any sense to me because isn't LinkedIn owned by like Microsoft? And doesn't Microsoft also own Twitch, which is like the streaming juggernaut? Like, how do you not have it figured out, bro? Let's get to it. All right. But I'm very interested to see what comes of this, Camille, in the coming weeks, because I've been hearing this, and I hope that it's not due to changes that have been made under new leadership, but that's the only thing that, and maybe it's some of the functionality and features that they're rolling out. So we will see. David Hunt says, I have not used StreamYard for a minute. I will have to test it in a little bit. I think let that thing die, brother. It's not even worth it, in my opinion, to go back. You already have Ecamm. You need, yes. Haycom, he said, David Hunt, I likely need to switch. And let me tell you something, Camille, you need to. You need to. You need to. Oh my word. My subscribers want a place where they can chat when I'm not live streaming. Any ideas where they don't need to share each other's private details? So this is one of the reasons why Discord was very popular with creators. Russ, Discord was very popular with creators for this particular reason. Because even if I'm not mistaken, let me just take a peek in Discord real quick, but I don't believe you have to share private details in order to chat with one another. You as the creator, Russ, you can create the Discord channel, and then people can be able to kind of talk with one another on there. And yeah, they don't necessarily need to share one another's private information. So Discord would be one of the, oh, there it goes. Tracy is sharing that she uses Discord for that as well. So that's a really good question. And one that I would need to do some more digging, but just off the top of my head, I just know that a lot of creators are using Discord for that, Russ. And I thank you so much for sharing that question, because it is a good one. Kirk was a stellar guest. I'm so glad. We had so much fun, Camille, on that show. I've got to go back and check it out again. I did watch it, but I have to check it out again. I stopped streaming live to LinkedIn. Too many problems. I'm following in you all's footsteps very soon. Ecamm is in my future. Yes. Ecamm is the way. I tell you, Ecamm has changed my life. Wow, so many opportunities with Ecamm. So thank you so much for that as well. I had Discord, I didn't like it, and many subscribers are not savvy on a keyboard to install and find their way around it. Yeah, so that's the challenge with Discord, is that it does have a high learning curve to it. So yeah, it is a challenge. But as Tracy said, it is free. And that's the reason why a lot of creators are using it. No need to share private info, and that's the other thing too. No, so sorry, y'all. I don't know what's going on today, but I will say this, Russ. You know that old adage of you have the triangle of, you can get it cheap, you can get it fast, you can get it good. Good, fast, cheap. You can only pick two of those. You can only pick two. You can't get all three. And I'll tell you, Discord gives you, it's gonna be cheap and it'll be fast, but it may not be easy, even though it is good, but it may not be easy. So it's one of those kinds of scenarios where you're gonna have to, you may end up having to, if you find something simple, you may end up having to pay for it, and you may not care. You may be fine with paying for it, but that's the kind of rule of thumb that I use. I just believe Discord is way too complicated for your average person to be able to just jump on and use. A lot of people, they argue with me on that, but that's just what I feel. So I'm just gonna keep it there. But yeah. I think the answer is I'll have to do more live streams. That is the truth. More live streams, man. Yeah, more live streams and allow them to talk. I love that. Yeah, allow them to talk. No. Tracy, I've seen even the most basic Discord setups. It's still very difficult for people to navigate. Not from a usability standpoint. Once they're in, it's fine, it's easy. But from a standpoint of getting their account and getting onto your server, it can sometimes be such a hassle. So definitely something to think about. Dr. Bashara is here with us today. Thank you so much for being with us. Mighty Networks is another one. Mighty Networks is another option, but it is more of a community-based scenario, similar to like Circle, or like for me, I have Kajabi. So Mighty Networks is another place that you can set up to chat, but you will have to pay for it. And it does have a lot more abilities on it, but it is a far more simple platform. Dr. Bashar says, peace, just got my 1 month warning from StreamYard. With the lifetime discount is now $790 for the year. Basic is now $391, which is what I'm paying now. I'm out. Yeah, Doc, I'm not gonna lie. I didn't get a 1 month. I pay annually. So I paid in August. So I have till next August before I have to pay again. But I tell you what, man, when I saw that price, I was like, Lord, that's crazy. That's crazy. I will definitely be canceling my subscription. I am not going any further. I have a business subscription that I have that I'm going to be able to continue to use. So I will still be able to do StreamYard content. I'll still be able to service my StreamYard, my clients who have shows who prefer StreamYard. But in several of those instances, I've either updated their pricing, or we've moved them over to another platform, or the company has purchased StreamYard for themselves and I'm simply producing. So I no longer provide the streaming platform in those instances. So that's kind of where I'm at with it as well, Doc. It's just, yeah, it's sad. It's sad to see it go down like this. It's only complicated if the server owner sets it up complicated. Disagree there, Tracy. But listen, we can agree to disagree. Cheers, David. I'll probably move over to Ecamm in the new year. I've paid for StreamYard until April. Hey, Ecamm is absolutely awesome. So definitely, definitely, I would love to see you come join us. Cancel my StreamYard too. My price went up about 120%. That is stupid. Oh, guys, I don't understand how they're even still in business with that kind of thing. Yeah, whoa, 2,800 plus. That is stupid. That is stupid. That is stupid. That's absolutely crazy. Here's what I want to share as we get ready to jump off for today. We have a video editing essentials class that's going to be starting in about just under 2 hours. So it'll be at 3 p.m. right here on YouTube. My video editor, his name is JD, good friend. He will be joining me for the class. Oh, why I'm not seeing, I thought I had our thumbnail already queued up and ready to go, but I've been doing so much work on Amazon, I don't think I have it still. Okay, I don't. But yes, we'll be doing a video editing essentials class right here on the channel in about 2 hours. So I would love for you to be able to come back and check that out. But here's the challenge. This class is for members only. It's, you know, I have to pay this. I have to pay the gentleman. I don't want to, you know, so it's not free for me. I've got to be able to offset those costs by making some things available to our members. Now, there's 2 ways to do membership. One way to do membership is right here on YouTube by going to the join button You see a blue join button no matter where you're watching it. I'm only streaming to YouTube right now, so you got to see the join button somewhere. But if you hit that join button, you're gonna be able to join membership, and you'll be able to get access to all of our member-only content. So I'm excited for that. The other way to be able to get access to the class is by joining a membership on Workers Warehouse. That's by simply clicking on going to kirkarnugent.live/buy and joining there. Now, Workers Warehouse gives you access to not only members content and members classes, but you get access to all my courses, graphics, design, scenes, everything, ebooks, downloads. We have a monthly meetup, which is actually going to happen this coming Friday. So you also get a one-on-one session with me once a year. That's a $250 value. So Workers Warehouse is like the creme de la creme. That's like the top tier. Whereas YouTube membership, it's $9 a month. So it's not going to break the bank. So you can kind of decide which one is going to be best for you. So I hope to see many of you there at that class. I think it's going to be absolutely awesome. That's great. That's great. Take care, everyone. Thanks, Kirk. I'll see you when you're older. That's awesome. That's awesome. Hey, and there you go. Tracy says, I did both memberships, and I have several who are in both memberships because there are some slight differences between the two. So definitely would love for you to be able to join us. But if you can't, that's no big deal. I want to say a word of thanks to all of you for coming and hanging out today. We talked about this quote from C.S. Lewis, which says, you never know what you can do until you try. And very few try unless they have to. And one of the things that we asked today that I thought was absolutely amazing is what inspires you. And I thought it was amazing, not because of what I shared, but because of what you shared. And so if you're coming in late and you didn't catch that segment of the show, maybe you came in during the Q&A segment where we were answering some questions, that's what the Coaching Corner is all about. We want to answer your questions, but we also want to make sure we deposit something that will serve you well throughout the rest of your week and throughout the rest of your year, throughout the rest of your life. Try something new, y'all. Try something new. One of the ways that you try something new is by being inspired. And being able to go back to the places where you were inspired is one of the cheat codes that we want to share with you today. Write down what you are inspired by, where you found your last dose of inspiration. Diarize that thing so that you can repeat it, so that you can be inspired again. It's your boy, Kirk Nugent, the Geek Speaker Preacher. Thankful for your time and attention. We will see you around these internet streets or in the next video. Grace and peace, fam.